Once, a successful and wealthy businessman decided to visit a small village with plans to set up a factory there. After arriving near the village, he faced a choice. He could either take the long road by foot, which would take about 30 minutes, or take a boat across the river, which would save him 10 minutes. Wanting to save time, the businessman decided to take the boat. The boat was small, with just enough space for 2 people. On one side sat the boatman, steering the boat with ease, while the businessman sat on the other side, looking out at the water. After a short while, out of curiosity, the businessman asked the boatman, "Do you know who's sitting in your boat?" The boatman, with innocence and humility, shook his head and replied, "No, sir, I don't know." The businessman smiled, feeling proud, and said, "I'm a very successful businessman. Tomorrow, my picture will be in the newspaper." The boatman, in his simplicity, smiled back and said, "I don't know how to read or write, sir. I've been working since I was a child after my father passed away, and I had to leave school to support my family." Hearing this, the businessman laughed mockingly and said, "You can't even read or write. What kind of life is that?" The boatman felt a sting of sadness but said nothing. As they continued down the river, the businessman pointed to a patch of land on the riverbank and proudly declared, "See that land over there? Soon I'll be building a massive factory there, where we'll make bottled water that will be sold in cities all over. You must have seen bottled water, right?" The boatman scratched his head and said, "No, sir, I've never left this village. I don't know what bottled water is." Laughing again, the businessman said, "You've never been outside this village? You don't even know what the city is like. What kind of life is that?" The boatman felt embarrassed and fell silent, thinking that maybe his life truly was of little worth. Just then, disaster struck. The boat hit a sharp rock, and water began to flood the boat. The boatman, realizing there was no way to save the boat, quickly decided to jump into the river. Before doing so, he turned to the businessman and asked, "Sir, can you swim?" The businessman, panicking, shook his head. "No, I don't know how to swim." The boatman smiled and said, "Sir, you mocked me for not knowing how to read or write, but at least I know how to swim and save lives. Hold on to me, and I'll get you to the shore safely." With that, the boatman helped the businessman, swimming through the river's deep waters, and safely brought him to the riverbank. Breathless and shaken, the businessman realized the value of the boatman's skills. With humility, he clasped his hands together and said, "I'm sorry for making fun of you. Please forgive me." The boatman, with a gentle smile, replied, "Sir, there's no need to apologize. Life is about more than what we know. It's about what we can learn from one another." Moral: never belittle someone for their lack of knowledge. You never know when you might need their skills.